Hey everyone, welcome to the webinar. I'm Andy Winnick and I'm really excited to be on this call today. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you haven't yet, go ahead and post in the chat box what you're most grateful for today. Just give us a sense of where you're calling in from and what you're grateful for today. I'm super grateful for you giving me about 60 minutes of your time to learn something new. This is something I'm extremely passionate about sharing and teaching. And this is probably the most interesting audience for me to teach it to, because just by being on this call today, I can tell that you're interested in taking action and growing your business and your brand. So I'm very excited about this. And again, thank you everyone for signing in. So a lot of people leaving comments in the chat box where you're from. And thank you everyone for tuning in. We got Chris calling in from Seattle. We got Steve calling in from Dallas, Texas. Cinda from Ashburnham. It's great to have you on the call. I've got people thankful for new jobs and for great health. That's great. Keep all that information coming in. So I'm going to go get started. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, a lot of these slides, because I have a lot of different slides to share. But what this is really about for me, when people say, well, what does trusted advisor really mean? And what does it mean to grow your business through business networking? So I'm assuming there are a lot of entrepreneurial types on this webinar right now. So some of you may be business owners, small business owners, freelancers, but I'm assuming a lot of entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial-minded individuals. And what I really teach is how to get other people calling you with legitimate leads. So how to use business networking to develop those relationships and that trust so that other people are promoting your products and services for you. So my mission, just to tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from, took me about 7 years to learn the skills that I'm teaching you today. There were 7 years of joining networking groups and attending networking events with very few results. And my mission is that it's not going to take you 7 years to learn this stuff, because business networking is fun. It's fun to get to know people, and it's really fun when you can attract and help more clients. So that's my passion, helping other people learn these skills so they can become trusted advisors and attract more of the right people into their business network. And that's really been what business networking is about for me. It allows me to reach a larger audience and serve this mission by teaching people how to develop trust as they meet people and expand their referral network. So thank you again for joining me. You've made an awesome choice for being on this completely free webinar, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how I did this myself. I went from no sales and no business or business networking experience to growing 2 businesses on the strength of my trusted advisor relationship. I'm an engineer by training, so I had that against me. And I had no business experience, which I guess kind of goes along with being an engineer. I basically figured it all out by accident, what I'm going to be teaching you now, and I'm very excited. So I'm going to walk you through step by step how you can do this for yourself in the next couple of weeks. I mean, yes, it takes time to develop your network. And there are things you can do. I'm going to share a formula you can put in place and really start seeing results in about 2 to 3 weeks. Of course, there's some stuff to learn, minute to learn, lifetime to master, but I don't want you to think that you have to wait months to do this, because there are things you can do right now, today. And the faster you take action, the quicker you're going to be able to generate the leads you want and the results you want. To start bringing in leads from business networking right now. And again, it doesn't matter what business you're in. I'm going to show you how to do this now. Lots of other businesses are doing the exact same thing to bring in lots more clients and profits. So let's go ahead and dive in. If this sounds exciting to you, if this is the information you're interested in, then go ahead and type into the chat box and let me know you're excited about it, and that you're in the right place, and this is what you've been looking for. We've got a yes, and Cindy, yes from Ed. That's good. Good. Oh, good. A lot of excited people. That's good. Okay, so I'm glad to know that you're all in the right place. So here are the proven facts. SCORE. Maybe some of you have heard of them. These retired business executives volunteer their time to educate and mentor small businesses. Do you think they know a thing or two about growing businesses? And someone asked them, does SCORE think that networking can be effective for growing a small business? And remember, the skills of the trusted advisor are all networking skills, right? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And if you want to be a trusted advisor, if you think that becoming a trusted advisor and developing that trust will improve your business, the best time to start networking is 5 years ago. The second best time is today. So does SCORE think that networking is effective for growing a small business? Well, of course they do. But this is interesting, though. They say it's effective as long as people get to know you and come to rely on the quality and professionalism that you provide for your customers. And what do you think other people conclude about your quality and professionalism if you aren't prepared to answer the most basic business networking question? But let's turn that around. What do you think people think of someone who can clearly and concisely say what they do? Instant trust, instant stature. That's the first step to becoming a trusted advisor, to master your elevator pitch. And think about it. I mean, people who can help you with your success are there at these networking events. They're there. It's not that you haven't found the right event yet. They're at all these networking events. And their first impression of your professionalism is your elevator pitch. So what does your elevator pitch say about your quality and professionalism? Dr. Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI. Now, I don't know if anyone on the call is part of a BNI chapter. BNI is funny because they are so successful that everyone hates them, literally, even some of their most productive members. I'm not kidding about this. Anyone who's starting a networking group can't wait to tell you how different their networking group will be from BNI. But I'll tell you, if you're going to only be like BNI in one way, make it the tens of thousands of dollars a month in referrals that they pass between their members. So whether you love BNI or hate it, Dr. Ivan Meisner knows a thing or two about networking. And according to Dr. Meisner, what is the secret to getting more business through networking? Time. Which is interesting because the number one business networking challenge people tell me they have is, you guessed it, not enough time. According to Dr. Meisner, people who spend 2 hours a week networking don't get much benefit from networking at all, but spend 6.5 hours a week. That's about 16% of your time if you're only working 40 hours a week. And it turns out that people who spend 16% of their time on average and generate on average 50% of their business from networking. Now, of course, part of the benefits you get from BNI is learning their approach to elevator pitches, one-on-one, professional referrals, partnerships, whatever. They have a whole system. What throws people off, what people find confusing and off-putting about BNI is that it's expensive up front, both from time and money, to get into and learn their system before you start seeing the results. As I said, today is about learning a new formula for doing this much more quickly and inexpensively. So what is business networking anyway? It's developing relationships, trusted relationships. And back to Dr. Meisner again, it's about much more than showing up and shaking hands and handing out business cards. He recommends doing something specific each week that's focused on networking for business growth. And that's really what today's program is about. Remember that you only need 6.5 hours a week. And we're not really talking about spending all those 6.5 hours networking, right? There's a lot of work that goes on around networking that we'll be talking about. So we're talking today about how you spend that 6.5 hours to fuel your business growth. So why do we want to learn this? Well, Harvey Mackay wrote several books. One of the ones I like best is Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. And he has a couple of great quotes in this book. The first one is, up the proverbial creek, if you've got a network, you've always got a paddle. Isn't that the truth? I mean, when you have people who take and return your call, you can move mountains. His other quote, like any new behavior, the more you practice the skills of networking, the easier it becomes. And the easier it becomes, and I want to say that what we're talking about today are the 5 skills. A lot of people don't even know what the skills are, so how can they practice it? But by the end of today, by the end of this hour, you're going to understand all the skills, and that makes it a lot easier to practice. And why is it important to get better at business networking? Well, I went to meetup.com the other day, and it's Meetups is in-person networking. That's what they're about. They're coming in-person networking. And look what I pulled up. I mean, events start at 6 o'clock in the morning. They go on until after 8 o'clock at night. Look at these numbers. You got 18 people. You got 35 people. You got 50 people. And actually, if you go out to next week a little bit, you got this 178 people, and you better hurry. There's only 72 spots left in this event that's coming up. I mean, that's a lot of people. You get a strong elevator pitch in front of those people, and you'll have some leads. So then what? Then what? How do you take that and develop trust? Okay, I want to share with you a story. We're going to get into the really fun part here, so I'm going to request, before I get into the story, go ahead and put your phone down. Probably many of you are holding it in your hand, so just flip it over, put it aside. I want you to shut down any other screen on your computer right now, blow this screen up so it's full screen. I'm going to share some very interesting information over the next 45 to 60 minutes, and I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because I've got a lot to share, a lot of slides, and I want to get you as much as I can in a short amount of time. And my request is that you stay on and stay committed until the very end, so I want to make sure I get you all this information. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to give away a bonus to someone. We're in this interactive program, and I want to make sure that you get as much out of it as possible. So at the end of the webinar, I'm going to give away a half-hour phone call with me. It's a $250 value just for participating in the chat box and putting through great comments about this material. So again, at the end of the program, I'll pick the person who is the most involved and had the best comments. So it's not just about posting once, and it's not posting about the weather or what you had for lunch or me doing other people's comments. It's about mastering these skills and asking good questions about the trusted advisor. It's about learning how to use these techniques and templates to come up with something that's authentically you and will bring you more leads. So how do all great business networking stories start? I met someone who has generated over $2,500 in business for me so far without ever becoming a customer. We'll call this guy Steve because, well, that's his name. He's a Jewish guy like me who, like me, loves a delicatessen named Zoptic. So we sit down in Natick for a one-on-one, and it's a blast talking to this guy. He's fun, he's funny, he's very personable, fellow entrepreneur. Like me, he owns a couple of different businesses, and that's where the one-on-one gets interesting, almost. And he's a promotional products guy, just like a lot of people you may know. But when he hears about my second business, he mentions his second business. He has this product for car dealerships, and my window cleaning business does a lot of work with local car dealerships. Turns out that car dealerships are a great referral for him. So, do I just send him over all my car dealership contacts? No, I do nothing. I don't really know this guy yet. I mean, I like him, but I'm not really ready to share anything with him. I'm definitely not ready to share my best customers with him. So I let it sit. We follow up with each other occasionally over the next several months using some of the techniques I'll talk about here in a second. Nothing pushy, nothing salesy, just checking in, sharing successes in our businesses back and forth. I mean, like I said, I like the guy. I don't mind hearing from him. Then it happens. Call it serendipity, but I just call it business networking. Actually, when we get to the content in a minute here, I call it opportunity spotting. It's one of the 5 skills of the trusted advisor. But more about that when we get to the content. So I'm doing a presentation for a networking group, and the owner of one of the car dealerships is in the audience. So I finish up the presentation and approach him afterwards. I tell him a little bit about Steve and say I think it could be a good connection. He agrees, and then he tells me he wants to follow up with me. So to make a long story short, this car dealership guy hires me to coach his sales team, and he ends up signing up with Steve for massage chairs in the waiting room for his service department. And it was really an aha moment for me about the power of business networking. I approached someone with something for him. I was not going up about myself, right? I went up with something about him, a referral that I thought would benefit for him. And it turned into business for me. Now, would I have signed up that business if I hadn't approached him that day? I don't think so. I mean, he'd written on the evaluation that he wanted to talk to me, but it's better to catch people in the moment. But I'll tell you, I look for any excuse now to approach people after a presentation. I'm always looking for reasons not having to do with me to start talking with people. And that's easier to do when you have a strong business networking. So the next time someone tells you that business networking takes time, it's true. It took 9 months to get the opportunity to make this connection. As I said, I was sitting on it. I was waiting for the right time because it takes that kind of time to develop trust. And now I can't guarantee that you'll get thousands of dollars in business out of every one-on-one, but I'll share with you in a second how quickly you can develop trust when you use these skills that we're talking about today. Yes, the faster you take action, the quicker you're going to be able to get the kind of leads you want from the people you already know and the networking events you're already attending. And I'm super pumped to show you how it works. So I'm going to go over the agenda really quickly. Then keep diving into this information because I'm going to share with you exactly how to do this in a little bit. So I'm going to go into my story a little bit and how I got into becoming a trusted advisor. I know I just shared a story with you about powerful results, but I'm going to tell you how I get into it. Then I'm going to give you examples of about 3 to 4 people who are becoming trusted advisors. Most of them are sales managers and solo entrepreneurs, so they don't have a lot of time, and they need to get as much as they can out of each event. They're from all different kinds of industries. Then we're going to talk about how trusted advisors get results from networking events. So a quick show of hands, again, through the chat box. How many people here expect to get leads out of every event they attend, and how many actually get leads out of every event? So go ahead and put into the chat box yes, yes, or yes, no, or no, no. You know, whether you expect to get leads and actually whether you get leads out of any networking event. Just go ahead and type that into the box. Rarely I see a yes, see a yes, no, I see a yes, yes. No, no. Okay, great. So we got people, all people. Yep. So you may not always get leads, but you have times when you get leads. You know, very cool. Some of you already understand the power of this. You're doing extremely well. and that's awesome. Hopefully I can teach you some new stuff. You can develop even more. And for those of you who aren't expecting this, then you're in exactly the right place to learn how to do this. So the next part of the agenda I'm going to be sharing with you is the 5-step Trusted Advisor Networking System. Yes, the 5-step Trusted Advisor Networking System. This is going to be the main content, going over exactly what's involved in the process of becoming a trusted advisor. Okay, there's a lot that goes on with becoming a trusted advisor. There's a lot behind the scenes. There's a lot that happens before you have to choose the event, put it in your calendar, print out directions, or put it in your GPS. Make sure you have business cards. Make sure you eat beforehand. That doesn't include any networking groups that you may be part of, chambers of commerce, or BNIs, or a group like that. Then there's the trusted advisor process, how you really develop the trust with the right people. Who are the right? How do you figure out who the right people are? Then there's the third part, which is the follow-up, right? You can't develop trust instantly, so that all happens later, after the event or the meeting. That's where people develop all the relationships, because you never actually close any work at an event. You have to have a real system, solid system for follow-up. So there's really 3 parts to becoming a trusted advisor. So I'm going to be sharing with you the middle part, really what skills you want to learn to develop that trust effectively, so people will take your calls and call you back. We'll be learning that during this webinar. And at the very end of the training, I'll be showing you how you can take the whole package. We've got an advanced training for those who are interested in signing up, really how to become a trusted advisor. So you can take what I give you now and apply it, then you'll be doing better, I know that. Or you can get the whole thing with the advanced training. So we're going to be talking about that, really how to take everything to the next level. And then at the end, I'm going to do a Q&A for about 15 minutes. We'll go over questions. If there are any other questions I haven't answered on the webinar, you can always ask me by email later, but I'll answer as many questions as I can then. And if you have questions, just go ahead and type them into the chat box as we go. I love getting questions as we go along. And then once we do that, we'll do the bonus giveaway. Remember, I'm going to give someone a free half-hour call with me, whoever interacts through the chat box. So take good notes, participate in the chat box, and wait until the very end so we can get the most amount of interaction possible. So again, as you're doing, keep chatting about the content of this webinar. If you can only have one chat, you're probably not going to be chosen. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So let's get started. Are you ready? So the first part of the agenda, my story. A little about me. I'm going to fly through this pretty quickly because I want to get to the content here in a second. But for those who don't know me, I want to talk about this for a quick second, a little about me. Back in 2001, I was living the dream. I was being paid 6 figures a year with plenty of stock options at a web startup called Informio here in the Boston area. I was being paid to develop highly reliable telephony software systems that could handle thousands of simultaneous callers in every major city across the country. I was on the fast track to becoming a VP of engineering when one day, a little over 13 years ago, it all came crumbling down, literally. 2 planes flew into the Twin Towers in New York. IT spending dried up. Our venture capitalists pulled back their money. And on January 1st, 2002, I was unemployed for the very first time in my 15-year computer career. There were no computer jobs. And I had a very strong motivation for finding a way to make money. I did not want to have to move back in with my parents. So I started looking for a new career. Make a long story short, I bought in on a franchise called Fish Window Cleaning. This is me, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and in May 13th, 2002, when I started my window cleaning business. And I spent the next year and a half doing everything: cleaning, selling, hiring, payroll, collections. I was the original man with many hats. And one day, I meet a guy named Tom Vance. Tom was the membership director of the Cambridge Chamber of Commerce the day I walked in to sell them window cleaning. I walked out with a chamber membership and a new customer. And as we cleaned the chamber windows that first time, Tom approached me about a new idea he had to start up networking groups under the umbrella of the chamber. I spent the next 3 years working closely with Tom on his networking groups, coming up with ideas, trying them, keeping what worked, mastering the whole process, this process of developing relationships that lead to sales. I was active in a bunch of other groups as well, meeting people, practicing my skills, getting better at developing trust. And one day, this is back in around 2005, I introduced the guy who was running my window cleaning business for me to my networking groups and started networking for my own business, Improv Andy. Now, I know that networking works, but the thing is, it's easy to overlook just how well it's working. I realized one day recently that the group of people I met 8 years ago through Tom Vance accounts for over $75,000 in sales in my window cleaning business. Now, I'm not saying that networking is the only reason my business will top $750,000 in revenue this year, but I'm telling you, those sales that come into the referrals, it's not much work to close those sales. And here's the real kicker. Earlier this year, I got a call from a woman I had met over 3 years ago. She had joined a new networking group and wanted me to come speak to her group. There was no one else in the running. I named my price and did the job. And that job led to another job because someone was there at that first thing scouting me. She paid to come to the thing so she could scout me for a program she was running, and another and another. That's trusted advisor selling. People call you at the right time for them. I'm telling you, it's a really fun way to grow a business. And I realized that other people are prospecting for me. I don't have to make all the contacts. People bring leads to me. And those, as I said before, are the easiest leads to close. So I'm an engineer turned entrepreneur. I don't clean windows anymore. I spend 5 to 7 hours a week on my window cleaning business. And the rest of the time, I coach other business owners, give presentations, develop training programs. I've been a finalist for Small Business of the Year and Franchisee of the Year. I've won sales awards and inspiration awards. I've been on radio and TV. I've even hosted a few shows. But here's the thing that I'm most excited about, most passionate about, what becoming a trusted advisor has really done for me. It allows me the freedom to do what I want, so I can chase my dreams and live them, not just talk about them. So I spend 3 weeks a year at the beach with my family, which doesn't include our Disney World vacation, usually in April, and a trip to Storyland in the fall. I play basketball in a local league, and I go downhill skiing as much as I can. And this really fills me up, getting the opportunity to know that I have my businesses in place, that it's running, and I have passive income coming in, and networking is supporting that. So I can play the piano and travel and do what I want with my family. So I don't know if anyone else feels this way. They want to run their business not, 15 to 20 hours a day, work really hard at it, but instead set up the systems and leverage the tools and support, saving you time. And that's really what networking has done for me. So I probably went on a little too long about that, but I wanted to give people a little example of who I am and what I've created, so you know that I'm a guy with no business or sales experience. I got laid off, and I can do this stuff and chase my dreams at the same time, travel the world. And everyone is here who is extremely intelligent, who's got the experience, who's got the drive as well. I know you can do this equally well, if not better. Okay. You just have to have the right system, and you've got to take the right action. So my goal is to share the system with you right now. And then you've got to be committed to taking the action. So if you just think about it, it's not going to happen. So here's the thing about networking. I took a couple of screenshots from emails over the past couple of days. Here's a meetup. Here's one from the Society of Professional Consultants. You may have heard of them. Here's something called a pitch party. Sounds like it's right up my alley. These are all sent within a few days, just within the past few days. So I can get networking. I get networking requests constantly, and many of you probably do as well. And can anyone tell me why people are networking? Let's just get an idea. Go on and type into the chat box. Why are there so many networking events? Why are so many people networking? Let me know what you think about that. Yep, we got exposure. We got because it works. Yep, it works because you get business, because you build your business and relationships. Yep. Keep them coming. That's good. Yeah, make connections. You learn from others. Yep, good. All this stuff, right? It works. This is why people continue to do this, and this is why it doesn't go out of style, because they work, even for people who aren't very good at it. And I just get frustrated when I see people not being successful, because with just a little tweaking, business networking can bring you lots of qualified leads. So I'm going to share some case studies with you in just a second. People who've been networking and were doing okay, but now they cleaned up their elevator pitch and they have more leads than they can handle. It works. And that's why it's a perfect time for you to jump in and start networking effectively right now. I'm not talking about 6 months down the line. I'm talking like the networking event you're planning on attending in a few days. You know the one I mean. Go on and apply what you're learning from today. It works and generates profits. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. And it may seem scary. I had someone comment that she likes to run away from events, but it doesn't have to be scary. Like nothing bad's going to happen. In fact, it can be really good. All right. So I'm going to share with you a few case studies, some 3 case studies of average, ordinary people who are creating some really cool results. And I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because, again, I want to get on to that content that I promised you. So let's talk for a minute about Jack. Jack is a buddy of mine who I met years and years ago through a few different networking connections. Right? He's one of these guys. I met him in a couple of different events, a couple of different groups. His dad is a master relationship builder using an actual Rolodex. That's so cool. See guys who are so old school they still use the Rolodex, back when people, he actually had a Rolodex stuffed with cards. So Jack has all this sales experience, but his networking events aren't that impressive. I finally convinced him to sit down for my 2-hour elevator pitch complete coaching program. He tries out his new pitch later that week, and here's what he had to say. I gave my new 30-second elevator pitch at a networking event the other night, and 2 people approached me afterwards and invite me to do a presentation for their company. Thanks for your help. So again, we're talking about faster results, making better use of networking events. The next one, Ann. Let's talk about Ann for a second. So Ann is in one of the more difficult to differentiate industries, website design. I mean, there are a lot of these folks running around. So she took me up on a coaching offer from one of my keynote speeches, and we worked out a new pitch for her. And this is really exciting because one of the top questions I get is, where do I find better events? And Ann actually went ahead and proved that there are no bad events. Here's what she had to say. I was at a networking event the other night. It wasn't a great event, but I was sitting next to a business coach who now wants to meet with me to learn how I can help her clients. Then I was talking to someone in the hall who knows someone who's a perfect referral for me. It works. And I'm really excited about this because I talk to so many people who come to me and say, you know, I was at kind of a bad event, but then they start talking about all the good things that happened at the event. So part of this trusted advisors thing is just this mindset, right? I don't know what you think is going to be success from a networking event, but if you get a couple of leads from a networking event, that's big success. All right, let's keep moving on. So next we have Craig. Craig's in an even tougher industry, insurance. I mean, how many of these people do you meet every day? Go to a chamber. You want to meet some insurance people, just go to a chamber event. They're all hanging out there. And he's been around for a while. He's been very successful, which meant I was even more surprised when he told me the benefits he got from his new pitch. In my 31 years in business, again, this guy's been around for a while. In my 31 years in business, I've had maybe 2 people ask a clarifying question after hearing my old elevator pitch. Since working with you, I have tripled that number in less than a week. Here's a guy who's networking all the time and never started any conversations. No idea that he was supposed to be starting conversations. No idea that that's the whole point of networking. And let's see, we got, Liz. So here's probably my favorite story, because when I met Liz 3 years ago, she was an introvert and a director at a biotech firm, kind of a scientist turned director. She's now CEO, and in those 3 short years, she built up her network so that she gets job offers every week. That's right. She's very happy with what she's doing. She's not looking for a job. But when she sits down for lunch with people in her network, they let her know that if she's never looking for a new opportunity, they want to be her first call. Now, imagine having that kind of job security, a dozen people who want you to call them first if you're ever in the market for a job. So would anyone here, let's just go ahead, type into the question box, if you'd like to be one of these success stories in the future, start expanding your network so opportunities just fall in your lap. If you're interested in that type of game, that type of business, and being a success story, just go ahead and type into the chat box that you want to, that would be something you're interested in and would like to be doing. And absolutely, yes, absolutely, yes, 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 yes. Yes, I'm interested. Great. Okay, good. So very cool. I'm pumped that you're all engaged and excited about this. So, and hopefully you're taking notes and getting ready to interact in the chat box. So we're coming to that part of the program. We'll do that giveaway here towards the end. But let's get into the next point of the content, the next part of the agenda that I promised you, which is how trusted advisors get their leads from networking events. So here's the formula. Hopefully you're taking notes. This is the really fun part. About networking, because you can really start to gauge how many sales you're going to do because you know the averages and the numbers. So I'm going to give you the averages if you already have events to attend, and I'm assuming that you already have some events you can attend. And again, kind of based on averages. So don't say that when you go to your first networking event that is definitely what will happen. Though this is, as you've seen from the testimonial, this is what I've seen happen for a lot of people around these averages. Some a little better, some a little worse, but these are about the averages. Well, let's assume you're going to an event with 40 people. The event may have 15, it may have 150, it may have 250, like that like meetup thing we're looking at, but I'm just going to say it has 40. So when your elevator pitch has a strong call to action, something I talk more about in the advanced training, you can expect about 7% of people to approach you with a legitimate lead. So that's 3 people who are prospects or are linking you to prospects. Also, in the advanced training, I show you how to pick 3 non-prospects to follow up with as well. And when you have a one-on-one with them, you can expect that between 2 of them, you'll get 3 more prospects to talk to. So that's 6 prospects total. And a standard sales average is that you're going to close about 16.7% of your prospects. So then you have to ask yourself, so what's the price of my product? What is it that I'm selling? Is it $500? Is it $500? But when you're using the skills you learn here, you will make a sale from every event. It probably won't be that week, and it probably won't be someone who is at the event. It's later on as someone who knew someone who knew someone who knew someone, which is why you want to keep going to events, keep meeting people, keep applying these skills that you're learning. So the really interesting question, though, since you're going to be doing this over time, is that what is the lifetime value of that customer? Because they'll buy other products and services from you. They'll refer you to other clients. Is it $10,000? Is it $100,000? Is it even more? So it's pretty cool. You can kind of figure out the math once you know kind of how many events you attend and how many people are at each one. And that's the fun part. It's figuring out, okay, cool. Then I just need to find the right events, which again I teach in the advanced training, and how do I create more opportunities to talk to people as I become a better networker and deliver more value and support people in solving their problems. You have to show them you have a solution to their problem. It can be in the form of a service or a product or coaching, a mobile app, whatever it would be. Once you have leads, you're in your wheelhouse, right? If someone says to you, hey, I think I'm interested in your stuff, let's talk about it, you'd probably expect to close more than one of 6 of those. I would hope so anyway. So again, that's a great part about business networking. Developing relationships takes time. The person you meet today may close in a month or 3 or 9, which is why we keep following the system and keep meeting with people. So now let's get to the next step of the presentation. There's a lot of the juicy good stuff. Make sure you're taking a lot of notes. This is the 5-step trusted advisor networking system. All right. This is it. This is the good stuff. So I'm going to give you the formula right now. And I really urge you to take good notes on this and leave your thoughts in the chat box. And I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. I'm going to get a quick sip of water because I'm going to fly through this. Okay. Are you ready? For the formula, the 5 skills apply to any kind of networking event and developing any kind of business relationship. The skills flow naturally together to show you as trustworthy and to show you who you can trust. The skills are the elevator pitch, follow-up, one-on-ones, professional referrals, and opportunity spotting. Let's start with the elevator pitch. Most people think their elevator pitch is about proving their expertise. They're wrong. The elevator pitch is for starting conversation. And there are 2 ways to start conversation. Face-to-face, someone comes up to you and asks you, how's it going, or what do you do? I call this the conversational elevator pitch. Or introducing yourself to a crowd. This is really what people mean when they talk about the 30-second elevator pitch. But a lot of the confusion on this comes from the fact that people confuse the stand and deliver elevator pitch with the conversational elevator pitch. They're very different features. They use some of the same material, but they're very different features. So the 30-second elevator pitch gets you leads when you're in front of a crowd. And again, the biggest mistake people make is trying to use this formal pitch, this more formal pitch, when they're talking to someone face-to-face. So you've got to know which pitch to use when. So your answer to what do you do is different from your 30-second elevator pitch. But the goal of both is to start conversation. Whether you're one-on-one or in front of a crowd, you're looking to start conversation. Because remember 2 things. First, we're trying to build trust, right? And there's nothing you can say in the moment. There's no words you can say, in 10 seconds that's going to get someone to trust you. That happens over time. So the goal is to start the conversation, lay the groundwork for building that trust. The second thing is, remember Craig. He got 2 questions in 31 years. Now he gets 6 questions a week. Now he gets it. He's starting conversations. And that's really what you want to be doing with your elevator pitch. You're trying to say something that gets the other person to respond, because once they respond, you're in a conversation, and then you can kind of take it from there. All right. The next skill number 2, is follow-up. Now, if you're concerned that you've been annoying people when you follow up, you probably have been, for one very simple reason. You're following up about you. Have you read my proposal? Have you looked at the list of contacts for people who can use my services? Me. That's annoying. So the key to following up is to follow up about them. And I will say that that's what Steve, remember Steve, when I was talking about at the beginning of the call, that's what Steve did with me. He sent me interesting stuff for me and wove in news about how well his massage chair business was growing. So he's still there. He's signing up more car dealerships. That makes me feel like he's more legitimate, right? I wasn't going to give him. Some of these relationships with the car dealerships, I've cultivated those over the last 10 years. And so I'm not just going to start passing them off to people, right? I want to know that people are legitimate. And part of the follow-up, right? The follow-up isn't just he didn't keep emailing me and saying, hey, have you thought about giving me your contact yet? He emailed me and said, hey, here's something cool that's going on in my business. Here's something else cool that I thought you might like. He was following up with me in a way that made me happy to hear from him. And so you can follow up with people with articles, newsletters. If you get those email newsletters, like forwarding an email newsletter to someone is a great way of following up with them. Here's something I saw. I thought you might like it. And the thing people panic about with that is that you don't need to follow up with everybody every day. You don't need to follow up with everybody every week. What you do is just keep it in the back of your head. If you follow up with 2 or 3 people a week, that's about right. And it's best just to start thinking that, as you're reading a newsletter, I wonder if this would be interesting for John over there, and just send it over to him. And, and I will say, if you see a picture of someone in the local paper, if you see an article about them in the local paper, clip it out and put it in the mail with no mention of your business. Just say, hey, I saw this great article on you. Hope things are well. I actually had one client who talked herself out of sending a clip. She saw something in the paper. She's like, well, I didn't say. He probably had plenty of them. And I want to say that it's never wrong to send someone a picture and an article of themselves, right? They think about it. If your picture's in the paper, you need thousands of those pictures. You need to send it to your mom. You need to send it to your brother, your sister, your kids. You're sending it to everyone, right? So you can't have too many copies. People go and buy out newsstands, right? So they'll never have too many copies of their picture. So again, follow-up has to be about them. And when you follow up about them, you will find they respond in terms of you. I got a great question. I asked some questions before the webinar. I got a great question before the webinar. How do I continue the conversation to close the business? And this is right along the lines of what we've been talking about. Get in touch about something about them. That's how you develop a relationship. You start with something they want to talk about. And if you have a proposal into them, they'll be super surprised when you send them something that has nothing to do with your proposal, right? Everyone just sits there thinking, what can I do? I want to call them. How am I going to follow up with them? Just send them an email newsletter you just got. Send them and say, hey, I was thinking about you. This sounds like something you're dealing with. And I found that whenever I do that, whenever my clients do that, they get an email back almost immediately. Oh, thanks for the information. We're still thinking about your proposal. We're doing this and that, and here's the schedule. You get so much information back. It's amazing. So once again, follow up. You want to follow up about them. And again, if you see an article in the paper or a picture in the paper, or you see them on TV, send them a note. People can't hear too much about this stuff. Nobody can hear too much about this stuff. All right. Third skill, one-on-one. So trusted advisors realize that the biggest opportunity at a networking event are non-prospects. That is actually so important that I'm going to say it again. You are looking for non-prospects. Now, if you do run into a prospect, if you do run into someone who would copy your product or service and has money to spend, stop networking. Set up a sales meeting for later this afternoon or tomorrow, whatever. Then you go back to networking with other people. So it's important not to confuse the two, right? But when you're networking, what you're doing is looking for non-prospects. And this is the answer to that age-old question. People are always like, I have to figure out where my prospects hang out. But you don't, because what we're talking about here is developing trust. And if you're in a room with all your prospects, you can't develop trust fast enough, right? You want to develop trust with people who can introduce you to your prospects. And once you're introduced, that's the shortcut for trust, right? Hey, Andy, you need to talk to this person. All right, I'll go talk to them. And when people send people over to me, like people send prospects over to me, the easiest sales to close. So most people are comfortable setting up sales meeting with prospects. But what do you do with non-prospects? We're looking for non-prospects. One-on-one. And I just got a comment in. Thank you everyone who's commenting. That's great. I do not manage to ask for one-on-ones. At one-on-ones, that's the key thing. So what do you do with non-prospects? You sit down for a one-on-one. You sit down for coffee. You get to know their business. You get to know them. You let them get to know you. This is the heart of business networking. And I'll share a really big secret with you, really big secret right now. If you're in a networking group, you should be doing 2 one-on-ones between the meetings, right? Everyone who I hear complaining about networking groups is like, oh, I go to every single meeting but I'm not getting any results yet. I say, well, how many one-on-ones are you having each month? It's one-on-one. This is the biggest secret in all of business networking. It's the real work of networking. Getting to know people. I have gotten zero leads from attending meetings, but I get a lot of leads from sitting down for coffee with people. And then what do you do once you've had all your one-on-ones with everyone? That's really funny. I go to a lot of networking groups, and people are like, oh, I've already had a one-on-one with everyone. Welcome to sales, folks. Start again. Every 4 to 6 months, you can sit down with people. Some of my best opportunities have come from the 6th, 7th, 12th one-on-one. One-on-ones develop trust. If you get only one thing out of this program today, one-on-ones are what develop trust. And once you've had a one-on-one with everyone, go back and have them again, because people roll out new products, people get new jobs, people have new perspectives. You know, it's the kind of thing, you know, this time they have kids, whereas last time they didn't have kids. There's all sorts of things that are changing all the time. And I know, I mean, I'm an engineer. I felt like once you talk to someone, you knew them, but you don't. I mean, there's one guy, I've really had 15 one-on-ones with him, and we team teach now. We pass leads back and forth. We know each other really well. We like hanging out together. We help each other with our business. So set up a one-on-one. It's the most powerful and least understood skill in all of business networking. And once you get this, you don't even have to master it. Once you get this, you see a dramatic jump in your results. And I'll say that not everyone will agree to a one-on-one, right? Again, this is sales, folks. Like, there's nothing, you know, you'll reach out to people, and it doesn't, you know, and that's some people won't respond, and that's fine. Go with the people. I got a great question. What about doing virtual one-on-one? Yes, I mean, the virtual one-on-ones are fine. I always prefer doing it face-to-face. It's something, you know, I teach business networking. I believe face-to-face is best. But I do a lot of work with people in California and Atlanta and all that kind of stuff, and of course I do not fly there to meet them. So virtual one-on-ones are better than not having one-on-ones. I will say that. It's always better to meet in person, but if you want to do it by phone or Skype or something like that, that's great. Again, if you start doing some Skype one-on-ones, you'll see your results really take off. So again, if you only take one skill away from today, pick two non-prospects, and set up a coffee. That's the path to being a trusted advisor. And again, I got a full program on this in the advanced training that I'll talk about in a minute. So the fourth skill, professional referrals. What's the worst kind of referral? Hey, Andy, I gave your name to someone. Yeah. That has never turned into a phone call to me. Like that kind of thing. It's not a referral, and certainly not for trusted advisors, right? Because it doesn't. It leaves a bad taste. I didn't even get to talk to the person. So a professional referral is a co-introductory email. You call each person. You don't have to sit down and meet with them. You call if someone wants to meet someone else, you call the other person. You say, hey, I got this person I think it'd be good to introduce you. Here's why. Let the other person say, yes, I'm interested in that. That would be great. Then you send them both a simple email introducing them, sharing their contact information. And those calls happen 99% of the time. This is actually what happened. The first time I experienced this process, the same time I got the email, the phone was ringing with the guy that the email was introducing me to. It's a great feeling, and it really helps build trust with people when you get that kind of response. That kind of responsiveness is great, because again, most people won't return your calls, but if you have this kind of responsiveness, it's great. So it's a little bit more work to set the referral up this way, but that's what makes it work. So you just put together an email with a little about each person and why you're connecting them and how you got in touch with each other. Again, in the advanced training, I offer exact email scripts for how to do this, how to request the one-on-one, and how to do professional referrals, how to do introductions. So if you don't want to have to make it up on your own, again, I have full exact word-for-word scripts over in the advanced training. And the fifth skill, I alluded to this earlier, opportunity spotting. My client Ann was a good example of this. Remember, she went to a bad event and got two great leads. She went to a bad event and made two great connections. So now I would say that by definition, any networking event where you make two connections is a good event. She just wasn't seeing the opportunity. She was confused about why she was there. And that's a lot of what goes on in the advanced training that I'll talk about in a second. I'm almost willing to guarantee that at any event you attend, there are opportunities there, because I see this time and time with my clients. I do some work with clients where we talk about the networking event afterwards. Say, okay, what happened? Who'd you meet? Who'd you talk to? And there's always 2 or 3 opportunities that are hiding there that they didn't see because they haven't tuned this part of their skill, right? It's a skill to kind of notice who you're looking for. So now I want to ask an important question. So put your pen and paper down. I'll leave it in front of you, but I'm just going to ask you to type something into the question box, into the chat box. So I know you're probably scribbling lots of notes, and that's great. My question for you is, what is the most surprising or valuable thing you just learned? So let's just take a quick breather. So what's the most surprising or valuable thing you just learned from the 5 skills here in the 5 skills of the trusted advisor? Just go ahead and type that into the chat box. What is something that you just learned, something that surprised you or think is going to be really valuable? Yeah, people are interested in one-on-ones. Faults about them, not me. Yep, that comes one-on-ones. Yeah, that's a big one. Good. Which earned his last. Well, I don't. That's an interesting thing to have learned, but that's not actually what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to focus on the other person. But by focusing on the other person, you're actually putting your interests first. If you focus on yourself, then it's hard to get people interested. But you're not putting your interests last. You're putting yourself second, which helps put your interests first. Importance of a one-on-one, conversational versus formal, power of the conversation, not to expect a job out of networking. Right, and again, Cinda, you do expect I expect to make a sale out of every single networking event I attend. I do not expect to make that sale at the networking event. I do not expect to make that sale in the day after the networking event. I expect that the sale will come. And again, in the advanced training, I'll talk about the second. I have a whole process that I go through to kind of see how this is, how to measure it and see how it's working. So I love doing webinars to put the fun back in business networking. It's just supposed to be fun. I've been in front of over 1,000 people in the past 5 years in person on webinars. Over 15,000 people have used my online software tools to improve their elevator pitch and networking results. This is what I love to do. And so what would it be like? So what would it be like for you when you're a trusted advisor? Let's go ahead and just again quickly in the chat box. What benefits are you going to get as a trusted advisor? What are you going to be doing? What's it going to look like when you're a trusted advisor? Just go ahead and type that into the chat box. When you're not constantly stressing about how much you are or aren't networking, whether new customers are finding you, how much you're hunting them down, how will you feel? What will you do with your time? Just respond really quickly. Let me know kind of how it'll feel to be a trusted advisor and what you're going to be doing with your time now that you don't have to be doing all that stuff. So we've got someone looking for incoming calls. That's great. Yep, you're the go-to person in your niche. That's great. Working doing the things you really enjoy. Yeah, that's wonderful. Enjoying a wide array of people. Doing what I'm good at. Like to hear more about when step one conversation started. Great. Thank you. Yep. High-level sales and long-lasting relationships. Great. So it sounds like you all have some fun, cool things you want to do. You got some great information you want to get to people. So I said, and someone said, need get more free time. And again, what I'm going to teach you in training here in a second is how to get better results from what you're already doing, even if you don't think you're doing that much. So it's time to move on to the next part of the agenda. And we're going to talk about the accelerating becoming a trusted advisor. And I'm very excited to share this with you. It's something I've been very proud of building and creating to help entrepreneurs and business owners and salespeople leverage networking as a way to become a trusted advisor. And this is the formula on how to do it yourself. So I am really, really excited to introduce the Trusted Advisor community. And this is my favorite thing that I've ever created because it helps so many people, like I've shared with you today, just get better leads and make a lot more sales in their business. So I want to tell you exactly what's included in the advanced training and how you can take action on getting it right now. It's live training webinars, open office hours, private discussion boards, full archive, and for those of you who now want individualized coaching. This is a screenshot of everything that's involved. So each webinar comes with worksheets and homework things you can try out immediately in your networking, keep you motivated learning these skills. I have an approach I call 3 ideas in 37 minutes. So each live webinar, 3 ideas you can apply immediately to what you're doing now. So I'm going to share what you mean in just a second. So let's go through each of these. The monthly webinars. These are scheduled each month and deal with one or more aspects of the 5 skills. Right? Again, we're talking about the 5 skills in this. The webinars aren't actually about these skills, but the topics of the webinar touch on each of these skills. So it's all about the elevator pitch, follow-up, one-on-ones, professional referrals, and opportunity spotting. Once you master these, the phone rings. It's great. So each webinar gives you 3 ideas you can try out immediately. So here's the schedule that's coming up. I tend to do themes for the month. So in June, I'm going to be doing professional referrals. We're going to be talking exactly through how to give a professional referral, how to get professional referrals, how to fill out that email. Again, it's all the email script, everything I talked about with that. In July, it's going to be networking on LinkedIn. We had a question about Skype and everything, and I get questions all the time about social media. And we're going to be talking about LinkedIn is a great place. There's some really simple things you can do with your profile, make it much easier for people to find you, and make it much easier to start conversations. So we're going to be talking about how to put the elevator pitch skills into LinkedIn. In August, we're going to be talking about advanced conversational techniques, how to stop conversations, how to get out of conversations, how to start a conversation with someone you really want to start, like, all those kinds of things. Then the next month, we're talking about developing strong relationships, right? Trust is all about the relationships. We're going to be talking about that. And I'm really excited about the program. I think it's in September. It's especially for solo professionals, but how do I differentiate? And so we're going to be talking, we're going to give a kind of different spin on differentiating yourself in a crowded market. So again, each month is a live webinar. And if you can't make it live, it's recorded. And you get full access to the recording and the worksheets and the transcript. You can review all the information. Even if you do make it live, you can go back and listen to it. And again, action steps you can take for your next networking event. So that's the monthly webinars. Each month we also have office hours. And this is time I set aside each month where I take any questions that you have. And this is less like a presentation and more like open phone lines. I open up the phone lines. You've got a group coaching kind of thing going on with me. So I pick a focus for each session, and I give about a 5-minute. I give like a 5-minute talk about the topic. But then again, we open up the phone lines. And once again, it's all based on the 5 skills. And some of the topics we'll be talking about coming up. This whole notion of giver's gain, it's a myth, right? Giver's gain. If you hear someone say giver's gain, that means they're trying to get you to bring them referrals before you get anything, and you do not have to play that game, right? Networking is about mutual gain, right? And so anytime you hear the phrase giver's gain, you want to run in the other direction because everybody should be able to gain. And as you've seen, you can get immediate leads. Like you don't have to put in your time with business networking. The more time you put in, the better results you get. But you can get leads immediately. You don't have to wait. So giver's gain is a myth. That's what we'll be talking about next month in the office hours of next month. Month after that, how to use social media. I'll talk about what's working for my business, what's working for my clients' businesses. That'll probably surprise you what I use and what I don't. But again, how to use social media. The month after that, we're going to talk about kicking people out of your network. It's actually pretty rare that you want to do that, but when you do want to do it, it's important. And again, it's really again, it gives me a way of talking about networking in a way that people don't usually think about it. So I've had a bunch of questions recently about kicking people out of your network, so I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about relationships, how to, the relationship secret sauce, what really makes the relationship work. And then again in September, along with the what makes, how do you differentiate what makes you unique, we're going to be talking a little bit about owning who you are, right? Everyone I work with, they are unique in some way, but people have trouble understanding that. So each month I talk to spend about 5 minutes, and we open up the phone line. We've had questions recently about speaking engagements. I had someone who did a speaking engagement. She had some questions about that, so we talked about how to get better leads for speaking engagements. I've had people talk. We've brainstormed how to get leads for environmental stuff, how to get in with government stuff. So we'll talk about anything on the office hours. And in History with Our Guide, we'll get a lot of questions about follow-up. I spend a lot of time working on follow-up. So next is the archive. This is your own personal private library. It's a recording of every single program we've done, plus discussion boards and best practices. Again, the email scripts and the speaking practice, everything is there. And the cool thing about this archive is you get full instant access to it. So if you're concerned with how to develop trust, we have a little mini course on that. There's a couple of things set aside in the archive for that. Where do you start? How do you keep it going? We have a full Master Your Elevator Pitch program. Take it step by step through the conversational 30-second elevator pitch, everything you need to know about that. Word-for-word follow-up scripts. If you're part of a chamber or networking group, then you get tons of value out of our Maximizing Your Chamber membership series. Which chamber should you join? How you instantly improve your results. We've got a lot of time-tested ideas and best practices. And again, in my office hours a few weeks ago, one of the members was talking about a talk she did, and she didn't give herself any way of following up with people in the room. She said, well, I'm getting all their email addresses, and I said, do not add those to your email list, right? If you didn't give them permission, if they didn't give you permission, you can't add them. And so I have a whole process that I run when I give a talk. If any of you are speaking or think you want to use speaking, there's some great stuff in there about the kind of evaluation you give, the kind of talk you give, ways to give the talk, ways to sign up to talk, all right there in the archive. And we're constantly adding to it, right? There's 2 more recordings going each month, and based on office hours, I'm always developing more material. And so the other part is the coaching. You don't need to get coaching, but if you're looking to accelerate your results, it is the fastest way. There are 3 options I'll go through really quickly. There's the Premier, which is unlimited. It's unlimited because people are serious. This is the year. That's unlimited phone coaching to the program we've already talked about. If you're getting ready for an event, if you just attend an event, I'll help you spot the opportunities. You can call me whenever you need. We just just make it happen. The second plan is the executive plan. This is great for folks who are running networking groups. You're trying to get better results from your networking group. You can have everyone join the Trusted Advisor community. I can give you kind of a site-wide seat for it. It's a very, very, very good thing to do. Once everyone in your group learns these skills, there'll be a lot more opportunities for everyone. So I really recommend the executive. If you're part of a networking group or running a networking group, that's a good thing to do for your group. Hey, I signed us up for this program. We're going to learn how to be trusted advisors. That's good. And the third option is the ambassador program. So that just includes that includes the trusted advisor community, the archives and the webinars and the office hours. It's just a question of how you prefer to learn, whether you prefer coaching or anything like this. So so a lot of you might say, well, what about other resources I can use to speed up my results? And you're in serious luck, because I just worked out a program that I call the Book of the Month Club. And so for 6 months, each month I send you a book. Yep, it'll be a physical book in the mail. A book that I highly recommend, a book that has really improved my business networking or improved my sales or improved something about the work that I do. So I can't guarantee exactly which books will be involved, but here are some examples of books that I've sent out. Keith Ferrazzi's Never Eat Alone, great book. Harvard McKay, I've already talked about his. My book, The Elevator Pitch Handbook, is coming out next month. I would pretty much guarantee you'll get a free copy of that if you join this program. Og Mandino, another classic, Greatest Salesman in the World. Again, I'm not guaranteeing it'll be these books, but I will. It's a book a month club. So for those who are willing to take action and do it. And some of you may say, well, you've talked a lot about the elevator pitch. How do I know if mine is working? And as a thank you for being on this call today, bonus number 2 is my instant leads from your elevator pitch system. Again, I said in the archive, I've got a bunch of information about the elevator pitch, but this is a separate program that takes you step by step through everything. It's 3 core video modules, 3 bonus video modules, all the transcripts, all the worksheets, takes you through everything, how to strengthen your call to action. So is there a money back guarantee for this? I mean, yes, I don't believe in refunds for stuff that I buy myself. I find if I apply myself, it's easy to make back my investment, helps me take action. What I do have is a 60-day money-back guarantee, and I just ask you to do 3 things. You got to complete the Instant Leads program, attend at least 3 networking events, and send me your strategy worksheets. And attend a few of the calls to show me that you attended the call. So 3 events over the next 2 months. I mean, you can take care of that in a week, and just show me who you connected with and how you use the new follow-up skills. Proof that you've kind of been doing that. And if you still want your money back, you got to completely back. If you don't complete these things, then you got to just complete that, because I've never had 1 refund on this product, not 1. And when you take action, you're committed to it, you're going to get great results. So here is what you get. This is the recap. You get a monthly webinar. Put that about a $129 value. Monthly office hours, $129. The archive and the discussion board, you can't get to those. I do not open the archive up to people who are not already part of this program. So that's not even available. Talking about the Premier Coaching, that's $249. Book of the Month Club, the Instant Leads from your elevator pitch program. So it's a value of just over $900, just over $910. Although the value is obviously way more than that. I mean, I charge $250 for half an hour, and you get over 6 hours of instruction in the Instant Leads course alone, plus the live webinars and the office hours. If you want to get this training by the hour, it's way more than that. So you can see the value of this training. So today's price is $350. Well, that's the Premier price, includes the unlimited coaching, and I will have a few slots opening up soon. If you're interested in that, just shoot me an email and let me know. Because the people who are in the Trusted Advisor community get first access to the slots for the unlimited coaching. What I'm going to do today, since you've all been so active and so incredible action takers and committed to growth in your business and mindset, I'm going to put the ambassador's price today at just $49 per month. So again, incredible value. When you sign up, you get instant access to the entire archive that we've got. We get the information for those who take action, get some amazing results. And you already know if you're not happy, you got the 60-day money-back guarantee. If you do the homework and show me that you've networked. So here's what I want you to do right now. We're going to get into Q&A in just a second, but I want you to go to trustedadvisorcommunity.com. So again, go ahead and pull up a web browser and head over to trustedadvisorcommunity.com. And so what you got there is you'll see a button there, subscribe for $49 a month. There's a button right there. So go ahead and click on that. And here's the really fun part. I mean, here's one of the things I'm really excited about this program. you get your own account. You get your own account. It's your own personal account with private access to our membership area. So you get full access to our members-only area. It keeps track of where you are in the training and what you've accomplished. And if you want accountability, it can do that for you too. Now, I don't know about you, but I have so many account names and passwords to keep straight. What I've actually done is I've teamed up with LinkedIn. We just use LinkedIn as a shortcut for logging in. We can't see anything about your account. We don't know your password. We don't look at your connections. We don't know your email. We don't do anything like that. It's just a way that you don't have to come up with yet another username and password. So you can go ahead and create yourself a username and password, either using your LinkedIn credentials or the more traditional way. You can do it either way. And then once you've got that, you end up on the summary page. And I'll say the ambassador program is usually $99 a month. So you've got the secret link here that gets you to sign up. You get to sign up for $49 a month. It gets you all the extras, everything like that. So you guys know the drill. You click on the checkout button. And that's going to take you here. Pull out your credit card. You can put in the numbers right there and take action. You get instant access when you sign up. Again, instant access to the entire thing. I want to get you the information. I want to get you the bonuses and the instant leads and the book of the month. So trustedadvisorcommunity.com. That is where this is all happening. So again, it's an ongoing webinar series that develops trust and expands your referral network. It's the webinars plus the office hours plus the archive. Again, my coaching slate is full right now, but if you're interested in the coaching, go ahead and sign up. Again, I give first choice to people who are part of the community. Interested in that. So go ahead and get signed up. We're going to be doing this for about the next 15 minutes. I'm going to do a Q&A here and talk about it again. So you're getting all this information, the live webinars, the interactive office hours, full archive, and coaching, getting everything you need to become a trusted advisor, whether you're networking a little, a lot, whether you have a great elevator pitch or it needs work. I'll show you how to do it step by step. And so if anyone has questions, we're heading now into the Q&A. So if anyone has questions, go ahead and type them in for me. Okay, great. A couple of questions coming in, so let me take a look. So what is a trusted advisor? That is a great, I got that great question recently because someone said to me, I usually think of lawyers and accountants like they're trusted advisors. And it's true in one circle of people, they teach you are a trusted advisor, but I would argue lawyers and accountants can be trusted advisors. They can be if they know these 5 skills, right? But I think you'll agree that there are plenty of lawyers that you wouldn't call for advice. And so to me, being a trusted advisor has less to do with your title or your kind of thing. I mean, anybody can be a trusted advisor, and I think kind of everybody should be. I mean, I think the more people who learn these skills, the more people who master these skills, the better off everyone's going to be, right? If everyone understands how to connect and how to build relationships, and again, you're not looking to build relationships with everyone. You're looking to build relationships with the right people. So what is a trusted advisor? So thank you. That was a great question. Another question coming in, is this a live program? Well, so there is a live component to the program. I do live webinars twice a month. One is the full webinar. One is the office hours, which is a little more open the phone lines, kind of get some group coaching going on. And the next question people always ask whether it's live is, suppose I missed something or suppose I can't make it. And I realize people's schedules are busy. Again, part of the goal of this is to help you get more results out of less time. And so everything's recorded. We do live programs, but everything is recorded. You can go listen to the recordings anytime you want. You have full lifetime access to the recordings. So that's again. So there is a component. Another question that's related to that. What if I can't make it 1 month? And you know what? This is the kind of thing. Like I keep the cost low here because it's an ongoing program. I'm doing this every month. There's a lot of value in the archive, and so it's not the kind of thing you can stop and start based on a monthly thing. I ask people to commit to 3 months when they join, and if after that it's not right for you, that's fine. But I ask people to commit to really doing it, and so but it's a subscription sort of thing. And again, while you're subscribed, you get access to all the information. And of course, you can quit at any time, but when you come back in, you don't get this price. Again, I rarely open it up for this kind of price. Good, got great questions coming in. Sounds great. Good. I'm just looking for a few more questions. How do I get the Premier Coaching? Just go ahead and email me offline again once you get signed up. Once you get signed up for the program, That's the best way to get to the front of the line to do the premier coaching. Another great question. So let's see. Having a hard time getting people to see my value. I need better tactics to get my phone ringing. So what else? That's a great question. I get this question a lot, especially around seeing the value. And what I'll say is you're focused on the sale, right? You're focused on people seeing the value of your sale. And in the Trusted Advisor community, we show you how to focus on the relationship. It seems counterintuitive, but the challenge you're having really is one of trust. That the value doesn't mean anything if I can't trust you. And so I just meet you and you're giving me your value proposition. I don't know if I can try, like that guy Steve, who wanted me to open up my list of really car dealerships. And those guys are swamped with requests. And so he developed trust. Developing trust. It's one of the mini courses in the Trusted Advisor community. It's what we talk about kind of every month in the Trusted Advisor community. So again, if you're having a hard time for people to see the value of what you're offering, you're probably having a trust problem. And I would encourage you to focus on. I'd encourage you to join the Trusted Advisor community. Focus on the relationship, and once you get the relationship, once people start trusting you, that trust proposition becomes much easier. So yeah, here's another one. Here's another along the same lines. Educating people on the value and quality of what I have to offer. What I'll say about this is people don't really want to be educated. They don't. I mean, they want solutions to their problems. And again, in the Master Your Elevator Pitch mini course that's included in the Trusted Advisor community, you learn you'll just end up chasing your tail if you talk about value and quality. Your elevator pitch has to be about the benefits, specific benefits. And if you're not sure how to do that, I really encourage you, just get your credit card out right now. You get access to that full course. You can really turn your elevator pitch around. So the value and quality, again, if you're talking about, to think about it, everyone offers value and quality. That's what people offer. And so that's not really a differentiator. So what we're looking for is to differentiate yourself, and that has to be with the results. People are looking for the results. That's really what we're talking about. Is talking about the benefits. Great, keep the questions coming. I see some people are working online, so that's great. Keep those signups coming. Glad to have people in the program. Fitting my business in with the right kind of clients. Anyone out there who doesn't like the kind of clients they have or that sort of stuff, look, your elevator pitch is attracting people. If they're the wrong people, then go ahead and sign up. Sign up for the program so you can fix it. The elevator pitch is really just the first skill. It's crucial to get it right. But then we have, then you want to keep going. Like if you're getting the wrong kind of people, and that's that's tough. All right, I'm getting a lot of sounds. Great. Going to go sign up for this. That's good. If you got more questions, go ahead and type them in. This is you got my attention right now. Oh, good. Great question. Thanks. So people, it's a longer question than this, but the idea of it is that people pay for my advice and then ignore it. So first of all, congratulations on getting them to pay for the advice. I know that if I pay for advice, I generally follow it. But once again, I would say that maybe you're working with the wrong people, or maybe you aren't developing that trust, right? If you kind of get to a certain stage, you're working with people and you get to a certain point, then they fall off. Then maybe developing trust is something you want to work on. Make sure you can have make sure your clients can trust you about the process. I've also worked with some people on the sales process that that a lot of. I know for myself for a while, I was doing 3 sales for each sale. I'd sell them on this and then sell them on that and sell them on the other. And I really streamlined that now. So you make the first sale and that's that's where you start and end. Like it's a much. So again, that's the kind of thing. There's some information about that in the archive, and it's the kind of thing we talk about during the webinar. What about people respecting boundaries and taking up too much time? It's the age-old question: is this conversation worth it? Right? You're at a networking event, you spend some time with someone, and is it time well spent? it's all about knowing. It's some about the conversational technique. You know, who to talk to, how to gracefully exit, how to know when to try to restart the conversation. But it goes back to the goals of networking. If you're concerned about how much time you're spending with someone, you're more trolling for sales than getting to know people. And you know, I tell people, I'll give you a little tip from inside the trusted advisor community. You want to set up one-on-ones with people who you like talking to, right? As long as you're going to be developing trust with people, you need to be developing trust. And so that's really where that comes from. So I mean, you can always shake someone's hand and say, I'm going to go keep networking, right? You don't need to be trapped by someone. It's very easy to get out of that kind of conversation. But you know, around that, it's you know, but outside of that, you know, you're setting boundaries. People can respect your boundaries. And I will tell you that you know, some of what we work on in the trusted advisor community, I now offer unlimited coaching. My clients can call me anytime they want, and I will usually I don't always pick up the phone, but I usually pick up the phone for them. And I find that people are more respectful of my time in that situation. They know they can get my time anytime. And so in terms of respecting boundaries, I was really worried about that moving to unlimited, but it turns out there's more respect for my time, so people know that they have as much of my time as they need. So that's good. Got a comment, you need to have good boundaries. Yeah, I mean, you need to have good boundaries, but it's not as painful as you think. All right, things seem to be slowing down. Congratulations to those of you who've taken action and go ahead and sign up. I look forward to. We're going to be actually Thursday is the first webinar, so if you have the office hours is Thursday, so it's a great stuff. Those of you who signed up, you know, feel free to hop on right there and get you know, talk about any sort of networking stuff you want to talk about. All right, it seems like the questions are kind of slowing down. So again, if you have anything else, go ahead and type it in. What I'm going to do now is pick the winner of our coaching program. Just give me a second to poke through here. All right, you know what? You guys are doing such a good job. It's really hard to pick. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I can't pick just one of you, so I'm going to pick three people who will get a follow-up. You know, we'll do a follow-up call together. Tim Brainerd, Steve Carlton, and Carly, you are the lucky winners of the free coaching call with me. And so what you want to do is shoot me an email. My email's all over the stuff you've been getting, and I will tell you I don't really chase people for free stuff that I offer. So, but I'm serious. I will get on the phone with you. So just go ahead. You open up your email now. Shoot me an email. Say, hey Andy, let's schedule. You know, let's schedule that session you promised, and I'll get right back to you, and we'll schedule something. So that's that's great. And I'll stay on for another minute if anyone has other questions. Happy to answer any other questions that you've got. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate you staying on to the end. Again, the folks I just mentioned, go ahead and get in touch with me. We'll set up a call. Happy to help you with whatever it is you're working on networking-wise. So that's it. Appreciate your time and energy. Again, thanks for being active and encouraging, connecting, and commenting. It means a lot. I really appreciate your time. And if I can support you, just be able to hit me up, and we'll go from there. Okay. Happy networking, everyone. Thanks again.